What's up, y'all? Y'all can realize the mic is different because my headphones aren't kind of working with my fucking laptop right now, and I'm not trying to go through the whole process and figure it the fuck out because I'm just explaining it why I haven't dropped a video in the last fucking 9 days up until probably today is because of the fact that my schedule again is not the sleep schedule. Don't worry about that because it's none of your fucking business. Is in all clustered the fuck up and filled for some fucking reason. And I got some time today to record, so I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop a video for you, and I'm gonna try to do one in the next following week, at most 10 fucking days. I hope it's not 10 fucking days, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see." Anyway, this is part two because that won the poll, and I'm gonna put out another poll after this shit, probably a day after. Never mind. Of what to do next. Because I was not expecting this to win another fucking thing. Oh, wait, never mind. I never closed the. I closed the poll, but people still voted. Because I don't delete polls, because I'm lazy, obviously. But yeah. Where are we going to start this? You guys might hear my brother in the background, but. But fuck it. I'm going to start this off. And Duke and stuff. Pausing time. I'm gonna start this off with Deku being at home. After everything, they got a week off, so Deku's at home, and he's basically just like figuring shit out. He's okay, so he's not even going too far into the villain shit. Don't trust me. He just doesn't give us like a singular fuck of why the fuck that happened. He's just trying to figure out okay, so what the fuck do I need to do to stop shit from stop shit like that from happening, but slow down shit like that from happening. And he's just sitting there in his room thinking while he's eating fucking breakfast. He's like, well, the Titan project is not gonna be done for a while, and he's thinking that. And he's just scratching his head and just leaning back in his chair. He's like, okay, so I need to still figure out how to control the flight system, which also is taking longer than I thought it would. Sheesh. The fucking suit is good. The helmet probably needs some work, but the suit is good. The Titan system is taking is gonna take for fucking ever. Even with fucking some help, that shit is taking eons. Good, and then but granted, this shit is fucking huge, like building huge. So I'm not surprised there. Shit. What the fuck is he gonna do? That's what he's thinking. Well, he figures fuck it. I'm gonna just say, he says, fuck it. I'm gonna just let shit happen as the natural cause goes. Then he gets a letter in the mail, and it's like, okay, and school begins Monday, and prepare for a festival. He's like, okay, a sports fest. What the fuck am I gonna do a festival for? And he says, oh, and it says, P.S. Yeah, you're in it, and you're in with the fucking support class of May Hazami. I'm like, and he's like, of course I fucking am. But I got 2 weeks to prep for this shit. It's not even gonna be all that bad. And he's thinking okay, so if I have no idea what the fucking sports festival is. So instead of being a dumbass, he legit okay, YouTube UA Sports Festival. And he's like, oh, okay, so and then he's just going through all of it. He's like, oh, it's a thing to get recruited. And the first years are the best years too, because it basically decides their whole career. And he's just looking at it, he's like, okay, I can see where it's gonna go. Okay, so I probably won't be able to wear the fucking extra shit. No, actually, no, support gets a lot. And then he's just reading everything. It's like, actually, support gets a lot more shit, but I can't use the wings, so I have to figure something out. And then he says, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna call Nezu. And he calls Nezu. Granted, he doesn't pick up. Then he shoots him a text. About 3 hours later, he's like, yeah, what did you need? And he was like, I was wondering if I can bring the wings into the fucking um here the sports festival. And as it was like, depends on the event, but if it's during certain events, no. During certain events, yes. And he's like, all right, thank you, and hangs up. He's like, okay, so now I definitely need to learn how to fly. So then he goes over and calls May, and he's like, hey, I need you to get the wings ready. We need to learn how to fly. And she's like, you're gonna crash again. He's like, we're going to the ocean. I mean, we're going to the beach, Deku Beach. And she's like, ain't that beach still filled with trash? Nah, I got cleared up by someone. And she's like, who? And I'm like, he's like, I don't fucking know. And basically goes there, puts on the wings, and like, okay, and starts booting the wings up and starts hovering. He's like, all right, time to fly. Flies and crashes into the water. Like legit, he legit thought he could handle it in any way. He was like a fucking shot down pilot. His shit went spinning and then it went boop in the water. And Mill's like, whoa, what the fuck? And then he came out the water. He was like, okay, that was a lot harder than I thought it would be. And this Mill was like, obviously. And he was like, and Deck was like, when the fuck was this waterproof? I just put it in as in Mill like, I just put it in as soon as like I got the call. Like there was no reason for it not to be. And that's what he spends the week doing, and then the next week doing to the sports festival. Now, for those who are wondering, like, what's the Titan Project? You'll have to wait and find out because it should be fucking obvious because I said Titan Project. And believe it or not, them shits were not mass produced as fast as you think they were. Them shits took a lot of time, and especially with like what 10 people who never built this before, and one person who's built it before, but not with these two, not even built it before, has tinkered with it because you don't the fucking pilots don't build their own shit. Their shit gets dropped off to them, I think. If they built their own shit, that's actually kind of fucking dope. This pick is fucking done. I can bend the fucking things on it. Anyway, so sports festival rolls around, and Deku's just sitting there like, and still in the workshop, and him and May, and no, it's him by himself because May's working on her own shit right now for the last week. And he's sitting here like, okay, so this should be ready for this. And fucking, he gets the schedule for it, and he gets what's marked for him to use and what's not to. He's like, oh. And he was like, okay, he doesn't say what the exams are, but I'll do it. So, first examination, so, you know how it is. First game, second game, and then the third one he's not allowed to. You all know what that is. And it's like, okay. And he doesn't get there late, he doesn't get there on time, but he gets there about last, so you don't have to worry about everyone just seeing his shit, because he figured, like, this will be a surprise. Mind you, he spent 2 weeks on this, so he can fly it pretty well. Not saying that he's, like, an ace fighter pilot, but he's flying it pretty well. But, alright, so the race gets ready, set, and starts. So as soon as everyone like takes off, he's already like pretty much like flying through the air, and he dodges the robot and is flying towards the stadium, and basically lands within like 2 minutes. I mean, not even probably like a minute. Now I think about it, and then like he's just sitting there like, okay, that was easy. And then everyone's like, what the fuck? When the fuck did this kid get a jetpack? And then they're like, oh, I remember that. And some people in the crowd are like, hold on, wait, isn't that the kid who named himself Apex? And it's like, oh yeah. I'm like, didn't you help the teachers and shit? And they're all just like talking about it. And about like, let's say 15, 20 minutes later, other students start running in and shit. And basically, it's What the fuck? Basically making, well, doesn't make situation complicated, just more like eh. But after all that, it's basically fucking like they're all talking. They're like, how the fuck they like? They're all wondering like that's cheating. There's no way. And they're like in fucking loud. What's his name? I was about to call him Loudmouth. I think his name is Loud Mike or something like that. Like says on the intercom, yeah, he's allowed. He's in the support class and hero course technically, but he doesn't really be in the hero course. So he's more in support class more than hero. He comes to the hero course like what once a week, and he looks at fucking like Aizawa, and he was like about that. So they're all like, okay, that's fucking cheating. That shouldn't be allowed. And it's like, no, it's allowed. We check with Nezu and everything. And then he just like puts the thumbs up. And, he gets first place. And they're talking about the second event. And it says, like, oh, yeah, by the way, this event is worth 1 million points. And they put the headband on this nigga head. And they're like, okay. And he's like, okay. And he's like, actually, I feel at home with this. And then they're like, okay, this is going to be like a cavalry battle. And he's just sitting there like, why the fuck would I need anyone on my team? And May's like, yo, want to work together? And he's like, yeah, fuck it. I could just, I already know the plan here, so we don't even need to talk about it. So basically, what's it called? So the events start in, what May does. May basically has the rocket boots and shit, so she boosts them for avoiding shit. And then when they get like shit too close for comfort, Deku flies them up and drops them back on, and they both land back on the ground because he's not trying to be stupid. In fact, 1 second. So for the whole exam, basically, like they're dipping and dodging everything, and yeah, they get a like a. Yeah, I know half you're thinking, wouldn't Bakugo just fly into the air? Well, simple. He just cut the engines and fall right back to the ground, and cut them off where they hit, then move. Not that hard to stick and move, stick and move. So yeah. Basically, that's all he did. He was stuck and move, stuck and move, stuck and move, and got out the way. And basically getting first place in the exam, and yeah. Let's see. My bad. I went silent because I was looking through shit. Uh, hmm. Well, I say he wouldn't care much about the fucking like examine rest of the exam, but yeah, he'll do it anyway. And then, matter of fact, so the fucking like tournament gets decided, and he's like, wait, hold on a second, and like goes to talk to Nezu. He's like, wait a second, you got me in the same arena with someone who can shoot fire and ice, a guy with explosions, and I can't use my fucking jetpack that doesn't have anything special with it. He's like, I actually have no words against that. And he's like, you can use it, but you can't stay in the air for forever just to cheap the fuck out. He's like, trust me, I can. He's like, I'm not that crazy with it. But yeah, so basically that happens, and it goes, fights goes, and canon, I take it. He'd probably get fucking. He first fights. It stressed my back. He first fights the same guy as usual, the brainwashed guy. And the brainwashed guy is basically talking shit in his ear, and he's like, okay, whatever. And basically kicks him out the in when he goes to fight. just kicks him out the fucking arena because it's like, you can't fucking beat me. So after that, it's like, damn, this kid's actually pretty nice at fighting. It's like, yeah, he wasn't really fighting them. He wasn't really fighting, so it wasn't that fucking chaotic. And they're all like, mm-hmm. And the crowd's like nodding to that. And basically, next round, everything goes as canon. The whole, like, that whole, basically everything happens, goes full circle. Except for the Todoroki fight. The Todoroki fight, this is actually a hard one because he's like, okay. As he puts on the helmet, he's like, okay. So, ice and fire. But I hear word that he doesn't use the fire. So, that's good on me. I have one less side to worry about. And basically, he's like, okay, as he walks out there, he's like, okay, so more than likely he isn't a close range fighter. So if I can just get close and do some things, it should be fine. So if I would start, Todoroki would instantly fucking shoot out like that. You know, like Haku, like ice line shit. He would just like jump to the side and fly towards him. And just for like fucking Todoroki to put an ice wall up over it. So Deku just like stops like and is on the wall and just starts wall running up it. And they're like, how the fuck is he doing that? And they see like a small like burst of like the thrusters on the back of his jetpack every time he like runs every 2 steps. Then afterwards he jumps over it and legit kicks Todoroki in the head, disorientating the fuck out of him, and then just like punches him and then tries to throw him out the arena. Todoroki stops himself with the ice barrier, and Deku's like, shit. No, this nigga Todoroki is still swirly eyed, so he sees 3 of them and shoots fucking ice. What is it called? I'm not trying to fucking basically ice spot, not even ice spikes. Just tries to freeze him, but Deku just like flies up and is legit just in the air now, and he's like, okay. So he can barely continue. And basically he looks at the Met guy, he's like, you sure he can continue? Because he looks swirly eyed. And Met guy's like, he's like, he's just looking like, I don't know actually. And he's looking at Midnight saying like, eh. And Todoroki stands there, he's like, no, I can continue. And they're like, all right. Even Deku's like, okay. And basically flies at Todoroki. Todoroki puts up another ice wall, but instead of climbing up it, like Todoroki thought he was, he basically fucking, like, went to the side of it and kicked Todoroki out the ring from his side, because he was still close to the edge of the arena. And it was like, okay, that's match. You know, that was my brother walking out of the room. They was gonna come in here and start some bullshit. Then we get to the final fucking fight, which is Deku, who people didn't think was gonna get this far, versus Bakugo. Ah, that shit hurt it. And I was picking out my beard, so basically the fight begins. Matter of fact, they see Deku doesn't bring out his jetpack for this fight, and they're like, "What is it broken or something?" And in his mind, he's like, "Nah, I just don't need it." So he walks out, and basically Bakugo walks out. He's like, "What's wrong? Yo, jetpack broke." He's like, Deku's just looking at him like, "I don't need it. There's no point in going in the air against you. You can fly up there with me, so I might as well just keep this foul on the ground." And Bakugo's like, "Oh, that's what it was," and just smiling. As the match begins, Bakugo starts running up on him with With the explosions, like usual, Deku is basically just counteracting the fuck out of him, parrying him, counterpunching, slamming, grappling and shit. So after all that, it takes a while, but Deku and Bakugo fight to a standstill. And he's just sitting here like, damn, this guy can fight. I mean, can take a hit. And Bakugo's like, damn, this guy can fucking hit. And the whole crowd is basically going wild at this. And Bakugo's just thinking, okay, so he's counteracting my explosions, so I shouldn't use that. I should try to actually fight him. And Deku's saying, like, he's gonna probably stop using his fucking explosions, so I'm gonna have to, like, actually fucking go on the offensive now. So now it's just an offensive fighting fest. To which Deku would barely win, but granted, he won, so. Ending the sports festival with him going home with a trophy, a medal, and other shit. And also a bigger budget for the fucking support course. Which is actually pretty big considering that they've never won a sports festival. So basically, he is labeled a lot of shit, so. Yeah, it's pretty much that. I'm not going to end it here because that's like 20 minutes, 21 minutes. And I like to crank out at least half an hour, or I can try to at least. So, I'm going to say some time passes and like everything comes coming around full circle. With the fucking Hill, of course, losing this year, which was the first time ever in school history. Like it shines some lights on the support heroes, which is actually very fucking rare. But they get like their budget increased, and they're just like, all right, I'm back. Usually, fucking like they get none, but Deku got a few offers to some agencies, but he's like, and they don't really fit like the bill for what I want to do. So he's just sitting there, just thinking like, okay, so what? And they're like, okay, what do you want to do? I want to be support, but I want to also be able to do hero work. I want to be the perfect in between. He's like, but these agencies even just want me for one instead of the other. So everyone's like, okay, I see. And then they just look at the right thing and they find the perfect agency, and it's like, okay, agency like not even in the middle of town, like on the outskirts. You'll do hero work from there and fucking like your shit. And he's like, all right, I like it. It's like out of nowhere. And they're probably just thinking like, there's no way this kid's gonna come here. And they see his letter come back and it says like accepted. And you're like, what the fuck? And there's like, and the whole thing is like, ah. And they're all basically like celebrating because they basically just got the chance of a lifetime, so they don't get shut the fuck down. So they're just sitting there and they're like celebrating and shit. And he's like, okay, sent it, and I guess I'm gonna be there next week. I mean, tomorrow. Because, yeah, that's tomorrow. I'm speeding this shit up because no. Matter of fact, how long did it usually take in canon? I forget. I don't really know, but I'm not even gonna, like, look to see. Because if I look, it's gonna be like, eh. And I'll lose interest again, which I don't like to do. So, I might guess around, like, like, a week or two. So, Deku comes in and they're like, welcome to your internship. Like, welcome to the internship. And then they basically explain what they do here and explain, like, they have not really known people from here, but they hope to, like, grow. so people are well known here. And Deku's like, ah, I see. And I'm like, so you allow them to be both heroes and do support just to be known. And it was like, yeah. And he was like, this might be a small group, but we take care of each other. I mean, this might be like a very small company, but we take care of each other here. And he's like, okay. And he's like, I think I'm gonna like this place because he's giving the tour, and he helped work on some people's things and give input. Because mind you, all in that place, every person's opinion is valid, even if you're like an intern. So he's basically there. He's like helping and working, and they're like hearing a report. And I say about a week into it, like it's the night in canon with fucking you know who, the everyone's favorite fucking anti-hero that made sense, Stain. So they kept hearing reports of Stain, and everyone's in there like, dang, if we took down Stain, we'd get like a huge reputation boost. And Deku's like, actually, that's a good idea. Someone bring out a map of the city real quick. And they're like, okay, all right. And then they marked everywhere he's gonna be, and he's like, a pattern. So my chances are he's gonna be, and then he points there, and he's like, here. And they're like, okay, so you guys want to move out as a unit? And he's like, yep. And it was like, oh, by the way, remember they had a design for your jetpack with like the rockets? And like, yeah, they couldn't be finished. He's like, oh yeah, we got those. I mean, oh yeah, we finished that. And they're like, he was like, excuse me? They're like, yeah, we have a lot of spare, like we have a lot of money in a small group. We just don't really use it that often. But we were able to get the parts necessary for that, and yeah, you now are equipped with rockets. And he's like, W. And then puts them on, and they're like, okay, you don't have to, like, be everything from the sky. I mean, you can do your, like, unlike other places where, like, where if you help, we get credit. If you beat him, or anyone that lets beat him, you get all the credit, and if someone assists, you get the assist. And they all nod and head out. Deku basically flies out, and he's like, okay. And then he's like holding the button for it, and like they come out the back, and they move with his hands, and he's like, okay, so I see how this works. And then they just leave a note. By the way, these aren't lethal; these are stun. So, and he's like, that's actually even better. So he flies to like the spot he'd think he'd be, and he's there, legit. Like the same shit happens in canon. Ida's being a fucking idiot. And for those who are wondering who has one for all, Miria has one for all. Obvious fucking Lee. Why the fuck wouldn't he? So Ida's getting bullied like in canon. Todoroki is nowhere to be found because them two are not friends because Deku is not a thing in this. So Mirio's getting absolutely fucking washed. Like when I mean he's getting washed, I mean, ooh, he's getting smoked. And basically, in the middle of it, Deku basically like from the skies, he basically points his rockets down, and all you hear from the skies, and Stain's like, "What the fuck is that?" And then all he feels is like being stunned and concussed and all sorts of shit. And everyone notes hears that in this group, and he's like, "Hero Killer Stain stunned and concussed." And they're like, "Yep, moving in." And basically, they all come in. They don't even jump Stain. They just freaking like someone jabs him on the back of the neck, putting them like down on a knee. And before he goes to like strike someone else, someone comes through and basically like punches him and takes his weapons. And they basically put the thumbs up and like mission complete. And Stain basically does on the whole spiel like how it is, and Deku's like, I'm like, I may seem like a hero, but I'm not really that heroic. Like, I'd rather be like, I do this not because it's fun, because I feel like it should be done. Like, he goes on the whole spiel like, if it was my decision, the rockets I used on you would have been fatal. and I would have took you out along with. Oh, it took you out along with him because he's a liability because he lost it over whatever. You can't just lose it in the heat of the moment just because of something, either personal or mental. Doing that, you are a liability. Therefore, liabilities must be, eliminated at the cart. But he said, but I don't do that because of the fact that, like, that's not what this job entails. It basically goes on the whole thing about it and staying sitting here like, okay, but what about the heroes that deserve to die? And he's like, oh, trust me, they're gonna get what's coming to them. I'd take that. And like, I'm just gonna say, he just says, I'll take that penalty if they actually do deserve it. You kind of do, but it's like, though, like, you reasoned it to where you're the perfect median. Some people, like, have to go that are horrible, and I understand that, but you didn't have to fucking kill them. You could have easily just, like, did what you did to his brother, I take it, just put him out of commission. And his brother wasn't even that bad of a hero. You just did that for no fucking reason. So I can't defend you on that one. And basically, it was like, basically goes to the whole thing. And yeah. And, he goes away. Then the Nomu fucking attacks. I mean, the Nomu wouldn't even. No, the Nomu would have attacked as soon as like he gets into the thing. But, the whole fucking team would smoke the Nomu. Like, not saying the Nomu was weak, but like they were not playing. Like they smoked the Nomu. They seen like they reasoned it was he's living, but because of the thing they seen with All Might is like they are classified in the realms of you can fucking murk that shit because it's not human. It was and it's not no more. It's a mixture of humans and it's just not scientifically labeled human, so you can smoke that bitch. And that's what they did. They smoked it. And mind you, at the base, they're like, yo, what the fuck? How the fuck they. And then, like, they just see on the news, it's like, you just see, like, this whole group of heroes take a stage into the thing. And, yeah, the whole thing. And I'm going to end it here. Because I need to do other shit and edit. And the editing won't even take that long. Granted, I did an hour fucking stream, so that's going to be a fucking pain. Fuck, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah, I don't got a mouse to fucking edit either. Fuck me. So, yeah,